Welcome back to the LTA, where Fearless Draft is back. With the positioning phase over, the teams have been seeded into 2 groups of 4 and will play a best-of-3 single round robin within those groups. After 3 weeks, the top 2 teams from each group will cross and play each other for seeding, while the 3rd and 4th place teams from each group will cross to play in elimination matches. That brings us to playoffs, where the 6 remaining teams will compete in double elim Fearless best of 5s. You heard that right, until we crown our Split 2 champion. I am so excited to get back into Fearless play on this one. I am ready to see what the teams have been cooking up. We have not got to see Fearless here in North America since the end of Split number 1, where our teams took on their opponents from the south down there in Brazil, and now it's time to hop back into it here today. I'm Captain Flowers, going to be joined by Kobe for this first series of 100 Thieves versus FlyQuest. We heard him and everybody else on the lounge talking about this one, how this might be a little bit of a revenge quest for FlyQuest, who were confident against the Thieves last time, but failed to secure the dub. Let's go ahead and jump into the first draft, as it has already started. It is Rumble, Yone, and Nico banned out by 100 Thieves, while FlyQuest removes the Varus alongside 2 of River's most played champions here recently in the Vi and the Nefiri, and a fast first lock on Kalista for 100 Thieves.
Whoa, let's see how they play around the Kalista, because usually when people have given over a Kalista, they go with a heavy poke lane bottom lane, but Kaisa would definitely not be that. That would be really, really weak into it, so I don't think we're going to get a lock in here early, and it's probably just going to be something else for FlyQuest. I mean, Varus is already banned, but you can do, like Ashe plus other pairings, classic into it, grab Nico early on as well. And they're just going to go jungle instead. Yeah,
already banning out the Nefiri and the Vi, locking the Xin Zhao for themselves, kind of looking at that top tier of junglers that fit into pretty much every comp right now. Makes a lot of sense for FlyQuest's side. I do expect to see Renata probably go over to 100 Thieves if something bizarre doesn't happen. But yeah, still looking for those potential poke options in the bottom lane for FlyQuest. Maybe they don't care about the bottom lane at all, and it seems like for now that's the case. Azir locked for quad.
All right, grab the universal mid lane pick at the moment. Let's see what 100 Thieves lock in. Yeah, I kind of do expect Renata along with the Kalista early on, but does pair with a decent amount of other stuff as far as the engaged champs go. And let's see what else they're gonna do. Do you want to drop mid right now, or grab something, like a Taliyah into it? Has been pretty common as far as the matchup goes. So they want to grab the Taliyah early, but support, you assume, will also be grabbed up.
Which means the jungle pool will probably be pinched even more in the second half of the draft from FlyQuest, since they've already focused it 2 out of 3 on bans, since they've already locked in their jungler. That could be problematic. So now the choice for 100 Thieves. Do you prioritize Kalista's lane buddy over getting knocked down further in the jungle tier list? You want to make sure that you've got River on something that can really do a lot of work. This one could be interesting if it gets locked in. It does. This could be either one.
We cover both bases.
All right.
They've solved the puzzle.
They were told to make a choice, and they said both.
There you go. You say yes, and so we get the flex of Pantheon to cover both possible support, possible jungle. I would say it's more heavily weighted towards jungle, but it does have that option open. So let's proceed on through and see what FlyQuest are going to be answering. The Corki does have some good burst damage still, even after the changes to the champion. So they'll figure out the pairing with it later, as long as they can protection ban a little bit more. And they're also still assuming the Pantheon will be in River's hands.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as the second part of the bans opens up, they immediately slam the Renata ban. They do not want to allow that pairing over there for the Kalista on 100 Thieves side. And now again, I'm expecting 100 Thieves to look at that jungle pool even more. It's already feeling pretty tight. We'll see if they're going to make it even more suffocated as the Yorick is banned away. That's one of those picks that when you look across the aisle and see Bwipo on the enemy team, you have to think for a second. There's a definite, distinct possibility this comes out.
Yeah, Bwipo on red side is terrifying. He's going to have the red side final pick for himself, so they want to take out some of those very annoying Bwipo counter picks types of champions. and see if they can get the reveal on Busio's champion first from themselves. So nice little Poppy protection ban here. That's always so annoying for Azir to deal with, not to mention effective both versus Xin, Zhao, and Corki. So very good couple of protection bans here from the side of FlyQuest. To close out those other support options that 100 Thieves would go for. Are they really going to throw another like sniper protection top lane ban here right now? Or are they worried about any sort of pairings with Corki? It looks like they're more worried about Bwipo on red side than they're worried about whatever Busio is going to pair with a Corki down there into Kalista.
Okay, so the Scion and the Yorick, the Renata and the Poppy banned out here in the second half. On FlyQuest side, I still need to see a support. I still need to see a top laner. I'm guessing it's support locked in on 4 here every single time to give Bwipo that 5th pick, red side counter pick that you know they love to leverage for them, and that will be the case. So Corki, Alistar, the choice into the bottom lane duo of 100 Thieves. Whatever it ends up being, it could still be this Pantheon down there with the Kalista. They could lock something else.
All right, Sniper knows he has the blind versus Bwipo, the terrifying top lane counter. And he feels comfortable on a smaller set of champions, but still a very effective set of champions for top lane. So should be fine with either the Jayce or the Gnar. Pretty universal up there. Bwipo, though, has a lot of options then. Seeing an early Jayce on top side, like he can go with another tank-style champion. We already saw other possibilities, or he could actually try and go kill lane into it, but Nautilus will be the final pairing there in the bottom lane with the Kalista. You love that point and click ultimate for their engage.
And seeing the Jayce being the blind pick here for 100 Thieves, both of their second half bans make so much sense. Yorick being a counter to it,
we saw
Scion being a tank that just weathers through it, and instead we are going to get the Gragas locked in for Bwipo as the answer to Sniper's Jayce.
All right, the sustain up there. Gragas is so good with the sustain in the game at the moment, so try and use that effectively here to dissuade the push from the Jayce. Honestly, it looks like a very well-rounded composition from FlyQuest that they've settled with. Pretty standard here for opening of a best-of-3 series. Meanwhile, 100 Thieves going to try and play with a lot of pressure. I mean, they've got the roaming mid lane here in the Taliyah versus Azir matchup, and some pushing side lanes for themselves with River being in the pilot seat here with Pantheon. Tons of gank opportunities.
Yeah, when I look at 100 Thieves team, it's the gank squad, right? You've got 2 semi-global ultimates in Weaver's Wall and Grand Starfall. You've got a Jayce that wants to be a menace in the side lane, and you've got a Kalista that whenever you draft it, your goal is to be ahead to the point where that can be another point of pressure too. You either pressure with Kalista or you pressure with Jayce, then boom, 2 other dudes show up out of nowhere. All of a sudden, 80s action movie fight. It's a 4-on-1. They got no way out.
They love those action movies. I'm sure all the 100 Thieves fans love them as well. And you remember Pantheon plus Taliyah, they don't even have to use their globals to be a good pairing. Just Pantheon stun into a Taliyah seismic shove is a critical combination. And when people think about the success of 100 Thieves, the first 2 names that come up are usually River and Quid. And so if you have Pantheon ganking early for the Taliyah, burning the Azir flash, then you have the really scary Pantheon stun into seismic shove combination, and they can try and use pressure to then spill over into the other lanes.
Okay, let's see here. Level 1, we do have a grouping up in the banana brush from FlyQuest. If anybody from 100 Thieves walks close, this is a very dicey situation, but I'm pretty sure the Thieves are aware of that. So it looks like we're not going to get a whole lot of anything spicy here as we just get this standard laying down of wards, but both these teams have had a lot to say about each other recently. Let's go ahead and listen in to some of the highlights.
Like, I don't even need to do anything, you know? Like, we're already in the finals. I finally beat my kryptonite. Like, Bwipo was actually my kryptonite throughout my entire first year. So, yeah, we're just gonna win. I don't need to do anything, you know?
I mean, honestly, we felt like the loss in Brazil was just on our side more than 100 Thieves playing well. I think we just didn't really execute our draft pretty good in that playoff series.
Underrated Thanatos, overrated Quid.
Yeah, Flash getting a lot of like past credit.
Yeah. Go on.
No, that's all I want to say.
Oh, wait, they're giving a lot of what? Sorry.
Getting a lot of credit for like something that happened a long time ago.
Yeah,
You know?
which is like...
It doesn't matter now.
Yeah, that's how I felt in our playoff series as well when we lost the best of 3 to them. I think
they were just bad and lucky. So
Just lucky.
Just lucky. That's it.
Let's see if they get
Nothing
lucky
more
again,
to
Flowers.
it. No hands, no brain, all luck. I like the trash talk, though. I like the fact that both teams are pretty much saying, no, there's everything the other one's hyped up for. It's just not there. It's not that big of a deal. So let's go ahead and see where our lanes are starting off here, as both junglers are starting in their bottom quadrants of the jungle. You can see FBI and Eyla taking early control over the bot lane wave, as Kalista often does. Back over in mid, it's Quid with the shove, checking in on summoner spells. Everything seems very standard for what you would normally expect. Both top laners running phase rush to get the ability to disengage from bad trades or ganks whenever those might happen. Bottom lane double barrier for the AD carries.
And we'll see about the jungle pressure early. It looks like so far pretty quick clear from River. He's definitely a bit ahead of Inspired. The Pantheon very, very fast here. So River will have some more options, a little bit more timing to try and go up and fight over that Scuttle Crab, especially since he's got his pushing Jayce on the top side. And we went over from draft, 100 Thieves with the pushing side lanes. They've got the Kalista Nautilus on bottom side, the Jayce on the top side. So it does open up a lot of opportunities for River. See who will be the first victim in this game. Probably just going to be a crab, as nobody really
Poor
exposing
crabs.
themselves. Yeah, those poor crabs they're honestly almost always the first victims.
Every single time, man. It's a violent, violent rift for a Scuttle Crab to live in these days.
Right upon spawn, how long do you get
There
to
it
live?
is.
1,000, 2,000, instantly dead.
That poor little crab is not long for this world.
The question is, does he get the double crabs? Because Inspire just popped the plant here as well, and since River's the one with all this lane power, it probably should be a double crab situation for him. Meanwhile, Quid himself gets a nice chunk onto quad as the jungler passes through. So very good opening for 100 Thieves. They've got the pushing lanes. They get the better clear for their jungler. And the Pantheon will be up and running very quickly.
Yeah, double crab start feels so good. Control over both of those solo lanes. 400 Thieves earning River that extra advantage. But Inspired, this is a guy who for a long time, remember back in the AP jungler power clear meta, this was our CEO of full clear. This was somebody who was not going to be caught unawares with his pathing, so he'll get right back into the jungle, right back into keeping that tempo up as we see River take his first recall as well. Goes back, purchases a variety of garage sale items. I mean, honestly, the only difference in inventory between the first purchases is just the glowing moat, and that's a very low impact item, so everything's fine.
I would go as far as to say it is almost the lowest impact item. It is one of the very lowest.
What's lower?
It is very overrated. Well, actually, even the rejuvenation bead is probably higher.
I think the bead does more than the moat.
Yeah, no, maybe it is the lowest. Chat, what is the most dog item in the game?
Which item
What
makes
is
a
that?
bark noise when
Because
you purchase it?
you can argue per champion, a mana crystal, especially if you get a mana crystal on a non-mana champion,
Right, okay.
that's the worst
Mana
item,
Crystal
right?
Garen, you're trolling, sure.
Exactly.
But
So that beats out
that doesn't count. That doesn't count. You have to buy an item
Okay.
that actually affects your character.
Okay, and isn't like a ward.
Yeah.
We got some rules here.
It gives you a stat, and the stat is one that your character uses.
And you're not like buying a support item when your team already has a support or something. You're like trolling everyone.
We're ruling out the absolute troll situations. Let's see here, as Busio will be the first one making his way up towards the top side here. It is that 5.5 minute late lane swap situation, as we will also see Eyla making his way up, but he won't be there in time. Busio might at least look for the angle here for the headbutt. Polv try to go after Sniper, but Sniper's already back towards the turret in time. Nice use of the ulti there from Bwipo. Sniper in danger. First blood over to the big man as FlyQuest is on the board, but River's ready to get one back. The Gragas will not escape from this as Quid looks for a second. Does not find the seismic shove there on Busio that could have set it up. A 1-for-1, 6 minutes into the game.
So really the benefit, since the first blood bonus is no longer in the game, goes actually to mid lane, because Quad pushing mid lane gets up to mid lane tower and gets a turret plate for himself. Meanwhile, on the top side, since it is 1-for-1 and there's no benefit to actually being the first kill, and they both flashed, the kills go kind of even, and they're going to take up the grubs in exchange. So a turret plate for the Azir, but the triple pack of grubs for the Thieves. So here's a look at it. If Sniper... It's hard because you're like, is he trying to draw FlyQuest further into this, since Sniper knows he has two teammates that are coming very, very closely, and that's why he didn't flash early on the play? because then it does end up being the 1-for-1. Or, you know, should he just have flashed early and lived there, even with the teammates being so close?
I mean, honestly, I thought the CC layering there between Bwipo and Busio was just beautiful, too. The initial headbutt into then the Gragas ultimate, save the Pulve until after he's been knocked back, and then slam the Pulve right after with the Alistar stun. It just felt like Sniper was stuck up until he had, what, 100 HP left. Even with the flash, no way out. But well played from FlyQuest. Obviously, 100 Thieves getting the punish. And the 3 grubs as a reward, that feels really good for 100 Thieves, even if they lost the first blood.
Yeah, honestly, I would take the 3 grub pack over the single turret play in mid lane, since Sniper was then able to, on respawn, go back to mid lane and keep the Azir from getting an extra one. But still very, very close as the flashes are traded. We'll see if it ends up becoming a thing on the bottom side here with both junglers ganking.
Both junglers showing up. Meanwhile, a lot of damage onto the 100 Thieves duo. FlyQuest feeling much healthier after that trade. It's one of those situations where you have to wonder, could it have gone better if River just decides to ult in with the Grand Starfall over the top, but did not want to spend that resource, didn't know that that Inspired was nearby, so then ends up just having to trade blows back and forth with the jungler, and his bottom lane duo loses out.
Yeah, junglers right now also are now going to know that each other both are clearing their buffs off bottom side, and then we'll be meeting back up. So you still have that wild card, Flowers, on the Pantheon.
I like the wild card.
You can keep that wild card to re-gank. But it looks like they're going to go for Dragon here off of the reset from FlyQuest bottom side. And that's going to be 2 objectives towards their feats here, Flowers.
I like it.
Very quick for the Thieves. And remember, this comp that they have has a lot of this pushing power early and wants to try and like crack turrets fairly quickly as well, so they can really take advantage of the Pantheon and Taliyah mobility.
And I like the fact that the first Drake, also an Ocean one for them, makes sense. They want to put the extra priority on this. It helps out a lot in laning phase compared to what some of the other Dragons might do early on in the game. So that one locked in and secured for 100 Thieves as Inspired just continues clearing through his own jungle, min-maxing the time on this one, bringing that red buff up there to just pop him real fast. You love to see it. As a fellow jungle enthusiast, I'm sure you are also a fan of the very slight maximizations on the clears.
Yeah, I like to make the red buff run for it. Meanwhile, Busio is going to make Sniper run for it.
Oh boy. All right, they're making a repeat visit up here. They know that the flashes are still down for now. Bwipo taking a couple of turret shots, though, as immediately the Grand Starfall used by River to reinforce Sniper. A barrel throw to dissuade the 100 Thieves jungler from going any further forward. And nothing for nobody up here in the top side.
That was a very efficient, quick move from FlyQuest to get the Pantheon ult out, but not overcommit to the play. You can see they called it off immediately. Eyla wants to keep it up, though.
Yeah, Eyla jumps in after Bwipo, who's taking a ton of damage here. Sniper wants to go to the skies. River is not close enough to get the killing blow there on the Gragas, but now it's Busio in danger. Flash in from Eyla to lock him up there with the Nautilus passive, but a little bit more damage is still required. Oh, a beautiful Comet Spear secures the first, and now they're going to claim the second. 100 Thieves get 2. FlyQuest gets nothing.
Oh, it is clean from the Thieves. They trap them. They stick around for the play, and Bwipo there out on the edge. But really, the difference is level 6 on support difference. Eyla getting it for the Nautilus there. Busio still level 5, so he's very vulnerable. You know, as he's getting chased down, getting chunked down, is going to have the ultimate to rely on to survive, and they just keep going for the chase. And Ayla's able to flash in and secure the re-engage, which allows the River to throw the spear through multiple.
Push together, you guys. Yeah, I can cover. Big Azir hovering bot.
Yeah, I kind of want a bit. We see Gragas. No flash Gragas.
They're here.
Gragas no flash, guys.
I'm here. Guys, I'm here.
Kill Gragas.
Gragas no
Kill
flash.
Gragas.
No flash, no.
Alistar.
I can't do anything.
We can still win.
I can Q.
Haven't seen Azir for a while.
It's all you, Rip.
He kind of needed base now, I do.
You
One
can look.
HP.
You can look.
I get killed.
My favorite comms are Ayla's comms. He was very clear from the very beginning. He's like, kill guys. And he's like, we can still get this. You know, he has the ultimate in the opener, uses his ult plus the ignite onto Bwipo to gain a lot of territory, and then flashes forward to get the root for the other one. And after these successful plays from 100 Thieves on the top side as well, the second pack of grubs, Flowers, that's a full 6. That is also the objective feats of strength for themselves. On top of the kills, that's going to be upgraded boots. 100 Thieves are blasting right now.
Really well done. I feel like so many times, Kobe, we see teams just set up for position because they know they've got to fight for the grubs. 100 Thieves just fights, and then it's like, oh, there's grubs there too. We'll take the grubs. Neither set was contested at all this game because the dust had already settled. FlyQuest were already forced away.
And Sniper, you saw there in that replay as Golden Glue was reacting, he almost had a solo bolo.
So close.
And we heard him after, you know, their series win down in Brazil, the best of 3 that they played. Sniper talking and being so happy about beating Bwipo, his kryptonite. You know, this top laner in the league that he felt like always had his number. And, you know, maybe it is a new era for Sniper versus Bwipo. That one was very, very close, but it doesn't count if it's close, you know, because now you look at the scoreboard and, you know, Bwipo is still ahead in CS.
So the thing that I see when I look at the scoreboard, the entire gold lead this game is the jungle, right? It is River versus Inspired. River has collected all 3 early kills on the side of 100 Thieves, which means the pressure is on this Pantheon even more than before to continue to find the angles, to set up the team for these plays, to find the angles to use the Grand Starfall to catch FlyQuest unaware and continue pushing this tempo forward so they can keep playing that side pressure style we talked about back in the draft. Busio's going to get found out here. River immediately jumping in for a quick snap of damage there, but Busio's still at about 2/3. As 100 Thieves knows this next dragon is going to spawn here in about 60 seconds. They're the ones who have the lead. They're the ones who want to make sure they're in control of the bot side River.
Yeah, I want to check how much gold he has in inventory because, again, when we're looking at the inventories, he just has 1 ruby crystal currently as far as fighting power over Inspired.
Yeah.
And so now he goes back and he gets to spend a little bit more. We'll see about the effectiveness of these control wards, you know, as people go back and use them to set up for the dragons. And we'll see about the dragons starting to stack here. But yeah, his ult is ready. His flash is ready. You expect to play from River here, especially since Quid on the Taliyah level 11 also is able to finish an item, plus very ready to use this Taliyah wall. So FlyQuest have to be careful about even positioning around the setup for this objective because you know 100 Thieves wants to fight.
All right, down in bottom lane, both of those mid laners just going to continue trying to gain priority over the wave, guarantee that it's going to be them who gets the first move, but it is Quid first into the river as Quad backs up. The rest of his team not nearby, so 100 Thieves with the control to, again, start up the neutral objective first.
Yeah, and you know 100 Thieves want to fight, so FlyQuest do make the correct call. We're not going to walk into this. They are on some pretty good power spikes right now. They have full control of the lead up to the river, and they're just going to opt to wait a second. They might catch.
Eyla wanted to go in there, but the back end of the shuffle throws him towards the turret. He takes 2 turret shots, and that's a lot of danger. Quad now going to be exfiltrated from the hot zone by ally Busio, as up in top lane, Bwipo and Sniper keep scrapping, and Bwipo remains on the losing end of the trades.
I like that. The hot zone.
Yeah. It's a battlefield out there.
It's dangerous down there. Need to get the extraction on him, and the flash was used, so Azir will be a big target here. No flash on Azir, no ultimate on Azir. The hot zone's kind of follow you when you're a carry and you bring your flash like that.
You are the hot zone.
Yeah, so you are the hot zone, so hot zone under attack.
Yep, the hot zone to the cold zone as he's thrown right back into those freezing rocks, loses half his HP from the seismic shove unraveled earth combo. And again, even though it's not a kill, it's a delay on base. It's reducing his ability to be out on the map and be affecting something elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So now low health and no flash. He's actually got to have Inspired come down and kind of hover. So pings go out because Vision was there for the 100 Thieves. They're slowly gaining, you know, extra like mini resources in the fact that they know there's multiple members of FlyQuest on the other side of the map, so they can be fairly aggressive up here on the top side with Eyla and River in trying to go get some vision or clear out enemy vision. So they grab Scuttle Crab and most of the stuff on top side, investing a lot of their control wards up here in preparation for the Rift Herald arrival.
All right, FlyQuest has not been able to contest a single topside neutral objective this game. 100 Thieves has always just been enforcing random violent PvP just at the right time. So maybe not so random.
Yeah, it's so random.
Yeah, maybe not so random. But it has caused FlyQuest to not be able to contest anything. We'll see if 100 Thieves can force something else before the Herald spawns, because right now, they're the ones in control. They're the ones just starting it up. FlyQuest not on the approach.
Yeah, I think full credit is due. Really good job, and especially to Eyla, I think, with a lot of the roaming plays that 100 Thieves have been able to pull off. Of course, River has been magnificent, but I think a big, supporting factor in the early stages here for 100 Thieves. Big gold star to Eyla. So we are just going to get another trade flowers because FlyQuest still no, and probably even worse for them now to try and fight, and a lower value objective in the Rift Field. So I think another correct call considering the situation they're in from FlyQuest. So just go for the trade on the bottom side, get that tower gold, get it into the Azir where they do need it, and try not to give up anything on the other side of the map. Seems like they'll be fine.
Eyla wants the dredge line, but takes a ton of damage. Immediately has to be saved by the Fate's Call, but now it's FBI in trouble. Grand Starfall over the top as River makes his way into the fight, and now they've locked up Inspired here in the front line, and FBI's got the first kill. It looked a little wild here at the start, but Sniper arrives to make it even wilder. Busio and Massu trying to get away as River jumps forward. A little bit more damage is needed, and Quid provides. Busio falls. 2-0 for 100 Thieves in another fast fight.
Dude, they are smashing them! 100 Thieves here showing up in a huge way. FBI is going to destroy the rest of this turret with Shelly.
All the way back over the wall.
He doesn't get to finish off the minion wave.
Okay.
It's fine!
Whatever, it's fine!
It was a fun ride, okay? It's about the journey, Flowers.
It's like a roller coaster.
Not the destination, because the destination ended up being on the other side of the Raptor Pit. Regardless, really, really incredible stuff here at 400 Thieves, because and we even heard, like we were saying on pros, Azale asked Quid, you know, oh, who are you going to predict? Wait a second, we actually might have some more action with Busio going fairly deep on this Hex Gate, but even some of the 100 Thieves players are like, oh yeah, you know, I totally understand if people would predict FlyQuest because they're more consistent, but we're going to fight for sure. Teleport comes in.
All right, Busio in danger, but the TP right behind 100 Thieves means it could turn around very quickly as Bwipo makes his entry and River is shut down. Beautiful start there for FlyQuest as it looks like the second should be guaranteed. There's no Fate's Call ready to save Eyla, and Bwipo even lives. Now the pressure's on the Sniper, but Busio falls to Quid. That empowered extra rock enough damage to take him down. So a 2-for-1 trade, but this is the first skirmish FlyQuest has won this game.
Unfortunately for FlyQuest, the Dragon timer is a bit too far out, and it's going to far exceed the death timers. So they do get +1 on the kills here, but they aren't going to be able to get an objective back for themselves. So here's another look at it. When Busio went super far in with the Hex Gates, they had the deep ward to teleport on, and they used that to try and bait in and trap River. And so they get their trap kill here on River. It was a very good ward that he was able to place so they could allow for the teleport. In the chase down then, when Eyla goes back in and they kind of get this last little rock from Quid, you know, it's just support for support. That's, I mean, that's what you like to see from the Nautilus and the Alistars, right?
Yep, they got to go in. They know what their job is.
They go down.
Their job is a lot of black and white screen in most situations.
I like it.
How it's got to be. The
More
cost
action.
of playmaking. As it's only a 0.3k, so 300 gold lead here for 100 Thieves at this point in the game. Bwipo far forward in the faces of Eyla and River, but he's fine with that right now. Dredgeline is not going to lock up the Gragas on his way out. Quid throws in the Weaver's Wall, separates the enemy team, as now Busio and Massu got to be careful. Dredgeline not going to lollipop far enough to pull the Alistar back into the unraveled earth, but Sniper is now inside the Dragon Pit. He has the flash to get back over the wall if FlyQuest wants to try to commit to him specifically, as Quad is going to take the Hex Gate over the wall. And there's Sniper's flash. He knows that could be a real problem if the Azir manages to get that angle, that pincer attack on him. Now 100 Thieves grouped up on the left. It's FlyQuest on the right, and they're the ones with the Drake aggro, but it's not dropping very quickly at all. Both teams know it's going to be a fight first as Eyla goes in, finds Bwipo, knocks him up into the air. Beautiful burst down onto the Gragas, and the top laners out of the picture. 100 Thieves use quite a few resources on it, though. How are the cooldowns going to play out here? FBI jumping in. Eyla thrown forward. Fate's Call needs to try to lock up Massu, but he's surely going to drop first. Now Busio's got to try to get away, but he re-engages instead. He's trying to use the tankiness, but a massive Shurima shuffle coming out from Quad as FlyQuest fight back, and now they've overtaken the fight. It's Quad and Massu against River and Sniper, and Accelerated Shock Blast is not enough to save Quid, and FlyQuest gets a 4 for 3. It's a bloodbath in bottom side.
Oh, what a fight! 100 Thieves strike first with getting a very good hook and combination onto Bwipo, but Quad saves the day. Let's take a look at the beginning. This was quite good. Look at how they section off Bwipo. They seismic shove him back in, immediately burst him down, and then they wait for cooldowns. They back off, 100 Thieves wait for cooldowns, then they want to re-engage with their numbers advantage, but Busio immediately pops his Alistar ultimate to hold the front line. Inspired dodges that seismic shove, but really the big turnaround here, Busio goes in on the front line to open up space for Quad to flash forward 3 members. Massu then Valks over the Azir wall as well, laying down that Valk damage on top of it. and they get the burst to finish them off. Big shutdowns to the side of FlyQuest. In addition to the Dragon, Mythi is still sweating with the way that this game has gone. And Golden Glue really wanted that one. That fight could have been, you know, the really big, like, closing the door onto FlyQuest, but the door opened back up, Flowers, with that fight to keep this one really interesting. And Quad there on the Azir, really big stuff from him to find the sweep, goes for his flash, goes for his big moment.
That was a fight-saving Emperor's Divide at that point. There is just no way, I feel like, that ends up being FlyQuest's favorite if he doesn't hit that. And now FlyQuest are the ones with the gold advantage. It's 100 Thieves who will have to earn their lead back in this game as FlyQuest continue trying to put on the pressure. They may have lost out on the early objective game. It was 100 Thieves that secured the feats after getting all of those neutrals early on. But now, FlyQuest have a lead in turrets. That's going to be equalized here if Sniper can finish off this tier 1 in the bottom lane. And FlyQuest are the ones with the gold lead as well as Bwipo goes in, looks for the engage here on FBI. He doesn't quite have the angle there, the explosive cast, but he has Busio, and that's good enough. Bwipo continues looking for a little bit more, but it doesn't look like they'll find a whole lot just yet as River flashes over the wall to escape yet another Emperor's Divide that would have been a death sentence. FlyQuest will claim their single kill, and it gets them a tier 1 turret to boot.
Oh, this is huge. FlyQuest, off of the spark of that Dragon fight, are retaking control. Tower down now as well. They have full control of the map. 17 more seconds still left on Kalista. They're not going to rush towards the Otacon, though. Still takes a long time to take that thing down, and it's fairly dangerous to pin yourself in small areas like that. Quad should be okay, though, with the Azir passive. Just pop up the turret.
Yeah, that turret is a real lifesaver in situations like these. Any other mid laner, you are very scared of that particular situation, and looks like River ready to use the smite to lock up the FlyQuest mid before he's able to get away. Meanwhile, Quid's ride is interrupted. He wanted to use the Weaver's Wall to try to get up there and assist River, but instead he's going to be caught out, and now River is killed instead. Disjointed play from 100 Thieves. FlyQuest interrupting Quid's ride, and it's a massive punish.
Let's see about the Otacon fight afterwards. Sniper goes for a trade onto Bwipo, but this thing's going down actually fairly quickly while they've got an Alistar trapped inside the Baron pit.
They're trying to corral the cow, but it doesn't matter. Sniper's down, and Eyla and FBI surely aren't going to get anything of value here. Bwipo ready to keep on slowing these guys down, but he's got to be a little bit careful as now Busio jumps into the back, finds a knock-up onto FBI, and he's gone. Massu came knocking, and 100 Thieves dropping as FlyQuest now 3,000 gold ahead. Enemy team still 3 dead in the dirt. River just now respawning. Now, Kobe, now they start up the Otacon.
Flowers, it is mid-game, and 100 Thieves are crumbling. They thought they were going to get a trap onto Quad, was the very beginning of this entire play, but it is good comms for FlyQuest. You can see on the mini-map here already, Inspired and Busio were on the way over, and so the wall from Quid immediately gets interrupted. Busio's here, they just knock him off the wall as he's trying to go over to River, and with the immediate teleport, you have to think, like FlyQuest, you imagine the comms there the entire time. We're talking about, hey, they're looking at me, Azir, up here on the top side. I've got my tower, be ready to teleport. The rest of them are ready to trap as well. And it kind of looks like and felt like a bit of a trap there. And FlyQuest did a very good job, you know, closing that trap on 100 Thieves. And now with the Otacon revives.
Oh, Inspired jumping in after FBI here, putting on a little bit of pressure. Third hit of the third Talon strike takes him down as Massu gets the kill credit. But man, what an Alistar game from Busio. Back all the way during the first kill of the game, perfectly cycling the CC there with Bwipo. The mid-game River fight where there's the massive Shurima shuffle that ends up winning it. It's Busio buying the time with his spacing, with his presence at the front of the fight. And there in that top side River, it's Busio flashing and pulverizing to knock Quid off of the Weaver's Wall to make it happen. Really great stuff from him this game. But now he and the rest of FlyQuest got to be careful as Massu is immediately forced into the false life withdrawal. And Inspired, Busio, and Quad all now in full retreat. Honestly, though, the Otacon giving them some dividends, making sure that, yes, when they get caught, it's still going to give a little bit back over, but it's not like a true shutdown on the 5-0 and 5 Corki.
And key is it protects your Dragon right here, since you don't have to wait very long there in the revival. Just come back over, Hex Gates. They're going to be able to get their Dragon no problem for FlyQuest here. So they retain pretty much everything, even with that shutdown going, or that Otacon revival removal going over in trade for a teleport cooldown usage. So I think FlyQuest is actually very happy about that cooldown trade,
Yes, sir.
because now the Jayce no teleport. The Taliyah, of course, has wall, so there still is some mobility, and you always have to worry about Pantheon ultimate coming back up. But from the looks of it, I mean, they feel so confident from the side of FlyQuest here. Neither of their carries have died in any of these fights. Quad and wait a second.
Busio forced to use Unbreakable Will there, as now he quick headbutt pull back into River. He'll make his way back out, but this is a pretty important cooldown for 100 Thieves to find. What about the rest of the fight, though? Bwipo jumping into the middle of everybody, but he's already got the stasis, so they can't rightfully punish him. Quad goes on a killing spree, and Quid is already dead. FlyQuest full sending it. 100 Thieves are the only ones to lose a man.
And specifically, Bwipo has had some really good engages. He got the engage onto FBI in mid lane to start that other domino effect of a bunch of FlyQuest victories that they got. He runs in through here, gets another engage for them that will also earn them. Wait a second.
Massu straight into the back line. FBI straight into the dirt. The Corki damage 6-0 and 6. Trinity Force, Muramana, Collector. It is a death warrant for anybody on 100 Thieves.
So, yeah, you just got erased right there. Massu jumps in, deleting 100 Thieves members left and right, and they're going to delete the Baron on top. Flowers, you might be thinking the FlyQuest comeback is complete.
This one's
think it's pretty complete.
This one's looking pretty done, my friend. FlyQuest, despite their rough early game, have bounced back powerfully. Now with a 6,000 gold lead, tied up Drakes. They're ahead 2 turrets, and they just keep finding plays like this.
Yeah, Massu, nice job here. He kind of hugs on the walls leading up over to it, and then jumps right over. The big one. The big one. Aptly named. Yeah. That was a very big rocket. That was quite a big one. He also had a 2-level lead over him at this point. So, yeah, still neither of the FlyQuest carries have died at all in this game. They've been calm, you know, even in the face of the pretty big early onslaught where 100 Thieves have been really building a nice early game, you know, off of their pushing lanes composition, able to utilize a lot of their kill pressure. But once that dragon fight cracked, once it was that big play from Quad, you know, it has been all FlyQuest really since that moment.
And I like the fact that you bring up these deathless carries, and we've talked about the playmaking of Bwipo and Busio. FlyQuest caught off by the Weaver's Wall, but completely unafraid by it now as they back away. Grand Starfall used for, nothing whatsoever but a free delivery as River is knocked forward. Now in danger, has to retreat back to the back lines of 100 Thieves. But no, what I was going to say, you're talking about deathless carries, you're talking about playmaking on the top laner and the support. This goes back to the interview that Isaac had with Bwipo at the very beginning of the game. Everybody's got to know their role. They got to know what their champ does. They got to know where they got to be. And that's what FlyQuest has been doing in the second half of this game as Busio makes yet another engage, and Sniper's going to die again. Eyla follows right after as Quad continues leading the charge after River and Bwipo zones Quid and FBI away with a seismic shove, not finding its way onto anybody, and a rampage for Quad seals River's fate. FBI and Quid will scramble now, but it's only 2 Thieves against a full Fly squad as Bwipo and Inspired just trying to cut these minions off, just trying to make it that much more scary for anybody left standing on 100 Thieves, and FBI is not gonna survive. The minions are still there. The remaining Nexus turret falls. They want to try to get one more on Quid, and Inspired dies to the Fountain Laser. FlyQuest might have struggled a little bit early, but man, they put 100 Thieves in the ground in 30 minutes, game 1.